Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com, and you are here with me for another Tuesday tip video. And today's video, I'm going to be featuring a really unique fold card. Guys, this one is amazing, fun, and easy. I've even got a diagram to help you know exactly how to cut it, so there's no room for mistake. You're going to love the card. Let's go get started. All right, friends, you are going to love the looks of this card. So you see, we've got some great fun fold going on here. I've got some creative ways that you're going to be able to use your cardstock to create this card. Let's get started creating an irresistible card with the Irresistible Blooms stamp set. A favorite stamp set, you might be going, where is this? It is not in the catalog. That is true. It is not. It is an online exclusive. But we're actually going to be using the bundle today. Yep, there's a fabulous set of dies that go along with this stamp set, and we're going to be focusing mainly on this one. We'll be using a flower and a leaf as well, but I loved this as a focal image. Let's get started doing our cutting on our cardstock, and then I'll show you how we're going to do this fabulous die cut. You don't need a lot to create this card. I've got a piece of Lost Lagoon that's 8.5 by 11. I've got two pieces of cardstock. This is for the inside, Soft Seafoam and Lemon Lolly. These are both 4 by 5.25. And then I'm also going to bring in some Very Vanilla, 3 3/4 by 5. That's it, guys. That is all we need. We're going to kick things off with how to do the fancy cutting. And guys, you're going to love this because it is really easy. First, we need to do some scoring on our cardstock. So I've got the 8.5 inches up here at the top. I'm going to bring that over to 4 1/4. Now, really quickly, see, that's my cutting blade. We're not cutting right now. We're going to score. So I just want to be using my scoring blade. Now, what I like about the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer is that it scores very lightly. We do not want to press down really hard when we score this cardstock. You'll find out why here in just a minute. I'm going to rotate it around and put the 11 inches up at the top. Then put it at 5.5 and score again lightly. All right. So you probably can't see it on camera. Maybe you can, but you can see I've got some really light score lines there. Now we're ready to do our cutting. So 8.5 back up there at the top, lining it right back up at that 4 1/4. And friends, what we're going to do is we're going to slide this down to that 5.5 inch mark. Now, I did say it's pretty light. You might not be able to see it. The good news is there is a measurement right here on the arm of the paper trimmer. So I can see I'm going to take that down to 5.5. So making sure you're holding on tight to your arm. I'm going to take that down right there to the 5.5 inch. You will have a cut like this. All right, now we're going to cut this piece off. So I'm going to rotate this around 11 inches up at the top. Let's get that cutting blade up at the top so that we can cut down. Now I'm going to put it at the 5.5. And can I give you a little tip? If you'll come just a little hair to the right, okay? We want to cut just a little tiny hair off of that. We're going to bring now our cutting blade right down to that 4 1/4 and boom. Great piece of cardstock. You're going to be able to use that on another project. But guys, the fancy cutting is now done. Friends, I know that sometimes cutting can be a little scary. Well, I have a free download for you with today's video, and I've got a diagram that'll help you with that cutting. I've got the instructions. Also with this, I've got all the measurements, all the supplies, everything you need to recreate the card. Head over to SimplySimpleStamping.com or look down in the YouTube description. That's where you'll find a direct link to my post for today, and you can grab that free download. Just my gift and saying thank you for joining me today. So let's talk about our folding. So we're going to take the left flap and we're going to fold it over. Crease that with your bone folder. Now we're going to take the top and fold it over. That's the reason why I had you trim just a little hair left, because I wanted to be able to fold that and have it fold down nicely. So let's say you didn't do that. If it doesn't fold down, just put that back into your paper trimmer and take just a hair off. It's on the inside, so even if you've trimmed off a little more, don't worry about it. It's not going to be a problem. All right, now it's time to bring in that fabulous die. Before I die cut, I just want to let you know, if you don't have this die set, you can still make this card. This image can be anything. If you've got circle dies, you've got square dies, you've got rectangle dies, you get creative. We just need a hole right here in the middle, all right? Whatever kind of window you want to create, that's what we're going to do. So I am now going to run this through my machine, and I want you to see there's that flap back there. So when you run it through your machine, you are going to want that folded so that it'll fit, right? We want it to fit through our die cutting machine. You're going to center that up from side to side. Where it goes in the middle is entirely up to you. If you want it up a little higher, you can. If you like it right in the middle, get creative there. I'm going to go run this through my machine. And you see there's our fabulous window, right? Okay, now there is a little piece that came out of the center. You might want to hold on to that, and I'll share with you why here in a little bit. All right, so it's time to do some stamping. Now we're going to go stamp crazy on this one. I'm focusing on 3 colors today: Lost Lagoon, Daffodil Delight, and Granny Apple Green. Let's start with the Lost Lagoon. We're going to stamp some flowers all over the front of this. Now there's 2 different flowers in this set. I'm going to be using the smaller one. But what we want to do is just randomly, yeah, it's going to hit those circles. I am fine with that. Not a problem. We will just randomly stamp our flowers. I'm going to open this up, and now we want to do some stamping here on the inside. I just want to kind of make sure my card is very nicely decorated. It kind of makes the inside just as exciting as the outside. Now, this little area here, can you see it's like, oh, I need one there? Here's my tip. Fold that down, and we can get another one right there. All right, so front and back of our circle. We've got another one to stamp. And that is here on the left side. So with the panel open, let's stamp all over this area, because this is going to, people are going to see this, and we want to make it look pretty. Just like before, I'm going to fold it over so I can get the edges. Guys, that part of our stamping is done. So again, plain here, stamped here, plain here, and stamped on both sides. I'm going to set this off to the side and do just a little bit more stamping on one of those very vanilla pieces. And for this one, I just want to stamp in the 4 corners, okay? Just to kind of dress up that inside there. All right, so I have a little trick here for you. Remember earlier I told you to hold on to this piece? Well, I'm now going to explain why I was going to have you do that. So I have a little scrap piece of lemon lolly here, but I've got a little surprise for you. I created this card in lemon lolly, and what do we see? We see this little Lost Lagoon flower here. Well, I used this and stamped that flower. So this is a great card to go ahead and create 2 cards, because if you'll notice on this one, see this Lost Lagoon piece that is behind it? Guess how I did that? I cut down that piece that I cut out. Do you remember the one that was right here? Yeah, so this is a great 2-for-1 card. If you start with a piece of lemon lolly and you start with a piece of Lost Lagoon, it's going to allow you to make 2 cards. So that is my tip, that if you don't want to bring in this extra piece of lemon lolly, well, you can always use that die cut that you used from the center. All right, so there's my tip. So guys, in advance, I did stamp in Daffodil Delight on Lemon Lolly. I stamped and I die cut that flower. All right, so I just wanted to kind of give you that tip. It's a great way to save some cardstock. I have already done that flower. I'm going to set that aside, because now we're going to bring in the soft sea foam, and I've got another little trick. This is a layer, but I love to conserve cardstock. So I'm going to teach you another little trick here. And I'm going to bring in some Granny Apple Green. And down here at the bottom, I'm going to stamp my leaves. Again, soft seafoam cardstock, Granny Apple Green ink. I kind of wanted to bring out those colors. We're now going to bring in the die, and from this layering piece, we are going to die cut our leaves. Just like that. All right, I can set these off to the side, because now we're going to adhere this soft seafoam to the inside of the card. So flap down this one is going to go right here. And you know, while we're adhering things down, we are going to go ahead and adhere that lemon lolly to the inside. Again, I've got more tricks for you. You may be saying, well, Connie, if you had that, why didn't you just die cut your flower from the middle of that? Well, here's the thing. We are going to be using this to write our message. Sometimes if you have a die cut here, it can interfere with you writing your message because there'll be a dent. So you can do that. You just want to maybe make sure it's up high enough. But for this card, I think I am going to leave it just like this and use a solid piece of cardstock. Let's do some quick stamping, and I'll bring in that Daffodil Delight. I just kind of like this is a little bit brighter. And I'm going to say, couldn't be happier to have you as my friend. There we go. And we're going to bring in our Lost Lagoon again and just add a simple little leaf. All right, we're going to adhere this to the inside of the card. All right, can you see what we have so far? Okay, we need to cover up this, right? Okay, we had that piece. Remember this one that we stamped our flowers on? Let's go ahead and adhere that down. And let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to add a thank you to go inside that die cut circle. So here we go. We're covering up our ick, but remember, we're not writing anything on this one, so I'm not at all worried about it. But the reason I put the dent down here at the bottom is because I'm going to stamp right here. So let's close our card. I'm coming back in with Daffodil Delight, and just inside that window, and I'm doing it at an angle, I'm going to say thank you. I have adhered my leaves onto my flower. We're going to add it here to the bottom of the card. What I want you to pay attention to is really more than likely the only place you're going to want adhesive is on the leaves. No Stampin' Dimensionals on this one, friends. I think this one, because of all those layers in there, I think we are better off to just add that. Now, here's where we're going to make this card sparkle. I love the iridescent rhinestones. Oh my gosh, these are gorgeous. So you see these great dots that we have here? You're not going to fill them all up, but wait till you see what happens when we add these iridescent rhinestones. I'm doing it with my Take Your Pick tool. I think it just makes it a little bit easier to pick them up and control. How many you add to your card, guys, that is entirely up to you. But can we just talk about this awesome card? Don't you love all the stamping, even on the inside? It really, really makes a difference. Absolutely gorgeous. And of course, remember, we also made the card in Lost Lagoon. Same card, I just reversed everything. All right, you can see I stamped in the daffodil. I want to show you something else I did to this one. Truth be told, I actually just forgot. But do you see, let me zoom in. Do you see the speckles in this one? There's a speckle stamp in Irresistible Blooms, and you can add that to the card. I did it there on the inside as well. I just forgot. But you know what? The good news is, even if you forget, it's still an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous card.